Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Today was pretty decent until the wind showed up, which is making it feel colder than it is.
Those wind chills will continue to drop along with actual temps. We begin with Hutch so that you and your family will be ready for what's coming our way. Hutch?
Now the changes are really pushing through the southern Red River Valley now and then been ongoing in the northern Red River Valley. We have gusty winds, we have reduced visibilities because of blowing snow in some areas and lofted snow. And temperatures are on their way down. Visibility over the last hour has improved and now is over a mile in many locations. So that's the good sign as skies begin to clear out. Here's a look at Highway 11 in northwest Minnesota near Donaldson from the Minnesota DOT. Here's a look at the clearing taking place as the cold air mass pushes southward. We have air temperatures in the single digits in the southern Red River Valley with wind chills between 10 and 20 below. Make sure you put a survival kit so if you become stranded by the roadside, you have a way to stay warm. This evening in Fargo, temperatures are on their way down towards zero as we head through the evening hours with clearing skies and north wind that will gradually decrease. But as it continues to blow overnight and temperatures slip below zero, we'll have wind chills overnight, you two, between 20 and 30 below. Dangerous indeed. The coldest of the air mass not here yet. I'll have details on exactly when it arrives and how cold we'll get here in a few minutes.
Prepare and then persevere.
Indeed.
All right, thanks.
Working enough hours just to afford rent is becoming an issue for some residents in the Midwest.
According to the National Low Income Housing Coalition, Minnesotans and North Dakotans have to make between $15 and $20 an hour just to afford a two-bedroom rental home.
Valley News Team's Maddie Jelseth looked into how long people have to work to have a roof over their heads.
Somebody's making $78 an hour, and you think about trying to get that, like I said earlier, $1,000 or $1,200 apartment, it's probably not going to fly.
Imagine working 78 hours a week at minimum wage just to afford rent on a two-bedroom apartment. That's what some Minnesotans have to do to afford a roof over their head. In Polk County, renters need to make nearly $19 an hour or work 77 hours on minimum wage a week just to afford a two-bedroom apartment, according to the Out of Reach report. A rental property office manager in Crookston says rental prices do vary from town to town within the county.
It's different in the fact that I believe this area, there's such a different market with the housing. You have such a different wide spectrum.
LaJess says depending on the wages people make, some residents might have to start out with a one-bedroom apartment costing $350 rather than a two-bedroom costing $425.
The quality of the home that they're looking at, too, as well.
For renters who can't afford rent without working excessive hours, there are programs to help. Housing Choice Vouchers program helps renters who qualify for it get more affordable rent.
For them, it works pretty well because they can pay higher rent, and they pay 30%, and so it makes it affordable for them.
In Polk County, Maddie Jelseth, Valley News Live.
In North Dakota, the National Low Income Housing Coalition says to afford a two-bedroom rental home, residents in the state have to make $16.44 an hour or work 91 hours a week at minimum wage.
In Grand Forks, police are asking for your help in finding a sex offender. They say Jordan Thomas Granger failed to register as a sex offender and has not contacted his probation officer as required. There's an active arrest warrant out for his arrest. Granger is believed to be in the Grand Forks area. If you have any information, contact police. The phone number is there on your screen, 701-787-8000.
The West Fargo School District has announced that the new middle school will be built in Horace city limits. Here's the location, Cheyenne Street and 76th Avenue South. In a Facebook post, the district says the school will be built to accommodate 900 students with enough land to expand the building if needed in the future.
School officials in Fergus Falls want students and parents to know that a certain cell provider will not be sending out reminder service text notifications from the school system. Beginning January 28th, Verizon users will no longer receive text messages sent through the Remind service. Verizon has greatly raised the rate to charge for those texts. Students and parents with Verizon who want to continue receiving text messages from teachers should download what's called the Remind app to your phone and make sure that push notifications are active.
Some North Dakota lawmakers are looking to get child sexual abuse training in schools. 2 bills were introduced on how to get information and resources to age-appropriate children. The information comes from task force recommendations on how to prevent child abuse in the state. While the Council of Educational Leaders is against the idea because educators are not properly trained, the Department of Public Instruction supports it, but cannot enforce it in non-public schools.
We're not talking about sex education here. We're talking about giving kids information so that they can understand how to have healthy relationships, engage in having relationships with trusted adults that they can go to when something is confusing.
Both bills were discussed today, but no action was taken.
Also from Bismarck, there's a bill attempting to tackle behavioral health in North Dakota schools. This bill calls for a study of behavioral health issues in schools across the state to find ways to best support students, families, and educators. Some teachers voice concerns over the growing issues that they're seeing in classrooms and how they report issues that they see.
I'm concerned for safety and for the educational process. When there are disruptions, it's really hard on the child that's disrupting, but the children that are watching are the ones that are concerned too, because they become so desensitized to the violence that they're watching.
Supporters say this bill will help establish uniformity long-term on how things are reported in schools.
As a result of the partial government shutdown, families needing the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, will receive their benefits earlier than usual. The benefits for February will be issued to their electronic benefit transfer cards on or before January 20th, but there will be no disbursement in February.
Shocking new statistics in the fight against opioid addiction and overdose deaths. The National Safety Council says for the first time, Americans are more likely to die from an accidental opioid overdose than a car accident. Local experts say it's sad overdoses are now the #1 preventable cause of death in the country, but fortunately, overdose deaths are going down in our area.
2016 was our largest year. We had around 99 patients that we gave Narcan to. 2018, we were down to 66. We are seeing that decrease overall throughout our patients in the metro.
We are seeing less overdose deaths over the last 3 years.
Regardless, first responders and addiction counselors agree that the Fargo-Moorhead area needs to remain focused on combating opioid addiction, so we stay ahead of the curve.